Hello again, gamers. I know I say it all the time. I've been meaning to make more videos on this channel. To be entirely honest with you, I have been doing a bit of gaming over the last few weeks. Primarily what I've been playing is Borderlands 2, and trying to figure out the best way to actually make videos of that, because don't really want to do a let's play of it because it is such a very long game. And I don't know, I guess I could just start a character over and sort of go through the motions of the beginning just to give you a feel for the game, but I've honestly put in quite a few hours into it, and I'm still not even halfway through the content, I'm sure. But that's not what this video is going to be about. In the very beginning of this channel, well, at least the very beginning of it as a gaming channel, I talked about some of the things I wanted to cover. One of the things I wanted to cover that I haven't done at all to this point is tabletop gaming. I really got involved in tabletop gaming. I've been playing D&D for, I don't know, 10 years now almost, and it's something that is very much a core part of the gaming experience for me. And in the last year, following Will Wheaton's tabletop show over on Geek and Sundry, I've gotten even more involved in tabletop games. And then on top of that, a lot of my coworkers apparently get together and play tabletop games actually at work. We have these decompression times where you can take a few minutes or an hour or whatever and just sit back and play a board game, or in the future there's going to be video gaming, other things like that. It's very much a startup mentality, you know, get the work done, but at the same time spend a little bit of time collecting your thoughts so that you can go back and work harder and be more interested in what you're doing. So in doing all of that, and getting back to the point, I've gotten introduced to a lot of new tabletop games, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to actually be able to show some of that to you. For one thing, people that I play with, I don't think that they would want to be on camera, so I'm not going to force a camera in their face. So aside from that, the best option in terms of laying out cameras is going to involve purchasing several other cameras, and it just is not monetarily feasible at this point. So I'm thinking the best option may be just to pull out a game. For example, I've got Munchkin sitting over on the shelf. If you've not played Munchkin before, amazingly fun game. I can pull Munchkin off the shelf, I can pull out the cards and actually demonstrate how the game works, go through the rule set, give you some of the little quirks, some of the details, some of the reasons why I really enjoy the game or why I dislike it if it's a game that I dislike. And then moving forward, you know, as I purchase new games, as I start to play them, I can give you reviews on them, give you the tutorials on how to play them, like I said, the ins and outs and certain things. It might be something interesting. Let me know if you are interested in that. Additionally, I wanted to go into something that has really grabbed my attention lately, and that is Kickstarter as it relates to gaming. Now, I've spoken about Kickstarter over on my Tool.tv channel in the past, and my opinion of it was not great. Essentially, Kickstarter was kind of scary for me. The idea that you would throw money at a project that was incomplete under the premise that they might send you something when it is complete. It always kind of shook me, especially if it was a larger amount, like the Ouya game console. I was not about to throw $100 at something that could have been vaporware, and as it turns out, it is apparently not. There are developers that have started receiving their consoles. But even more than that, there are tabletop games being introduced directly through Kickstarter and successfully funded with lots and lots of funding through Kickstarter. And to that extent, to just sort of circle back around, I have actually funded 2 games on Kickstarter in the last week. 2 of them that I saw pop up that were just very interesting to me. I'll put links to the gaming Kickstarter tracking RSS feeds that I use, so I get notifications when things are ending and things are newly listed, which actually helps if you want to get in on some of the limited edition stuff, or if you want to watch the ending stuff, you can see what's actually being funded to see if you want to jump on board. But the first one that I have helped fund, I got it the day that it actually launched on Kickstarter. I probably should check this again, but I believe it was called Den of Thieves, and it's a card game where essentially you have 4 to 8 players, I think, playing as thieves, and you have purses and coins and cutthroats and watchers and all sorts of things. And the fun thing about it is, it's actually kind of open source. The guy has already released the entire game in a black and white PDF. And if you help to fund the game, if you give him just $1, when it is funded, he will give you the color PDF so that you can print them out yourself. There is a limited edition run that is where I'm actually funding it. $12 will get you 1 copy of the game as soon as it releases, which I think is going to be in April. So looking forward to that. However, I'm going to go ahead and print out a copy of the game from the black and white and just see how it looks, see how it plays, to see if maybe I want to adjust my contribution level down. I don't know. The game itself, I watched a video of a render of it, and I'm not sure about it. It's something, I'll have the link to it down in the video description so you can check it out yourself. And I don't know. It's like I said, it's going to take a little bit of thought for me as to whether or not I really want to get behind this one. The other one I funded, though, very, very interesting stuff. It's a couple of web comic artists that have gotten together and said, we wrote a book, we put together all of this stuff related to this concept of a machine of death. A machine that can kick out a card and tell you exactly how you're going to die. Nothing more specific than that. Just, you're going to die of old age, or you're going to die of cancer, or you're going to die hit by a bus. Something like that. But they took this idea and they turned it into a card game. They had already been distributing the death cards as sort of a memorabilia type thing, and then there were some mini games revolving around it, and now they're turning it into a full-fledged game where the participants are assassins that have to put together, using other decks of cards, ways that these machine of death cards can come true for their targets. And it's all about crafting creative assassination stories based upon the items in your hand, the items in play, and the death cards for your targets. That one was a little bit more expensive. I think it was a $25 buy-in to get one copy of the game, and for a decent, interesting, well-rendered card game, that's actually pretty fair. And they have received so much funding so far that they're actually commissioning extra sets of cards to include with every box set. So they're getting them for other web artists. They're going to upgrade the quality of the boxes and the quality of the cards, and more cards and more cards. And eventually they're releasing a second book. They're giving out free copies of the chapters from that book so far. And there's just more and more things because there's so much funding going toward it. I know I'm really sort of babbling here, but the point I wanted to get to was I would really like to do more tabletop gaming related things on this channel. There is a lot of tabletop related stuff over on Kickstarter. I'm going to be paying attention to it, and I do recommend you take a look as well. Not just tabletop, but there's like Android and iOS games, PC, Mac, Linux games, Xbox and PlayStation games, I'm sure, that are being funded through Kickstarter. So if that's something you're interested in, you can try to get a little piece of the pie that way early on. You may want to do that yourself. As for me, I'm going to be watching tabletop stuff. I may put out some videos for you guys in the very near future about tabletop stuff, and probably about Borderlands, and I've got a couple of games for the Xbox 360 I've been meaning to try to capture, and some capture equipment that I haven't quite gotten to use enough yet. I don't know. Lots of stuff that I really want to do here. It's all about finding the time to do it, and yeah, this has turned into a long video. So that's going to be all from me for today. Of course, I will have another video coming up very shortly with the latest and greatest Loot Crate box. It actually sounds very, very interesting. It's called Doctor, and they asked for a t-shirt size. So I am definitely keeping my fingers crossed for a Doctor Who t-shirt. But again, that's going to be all from me for today. Very late night here. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience and support, and I will see you in the very near future. Bye, guys.